welcome. Please rise in body or spirit, for we wish you a Merry Christmas, a carol which is believed to date back to the 16th century when carolers would ask the wealthy for money at the holidays. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Good tidings we bring to you and your King. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So bring us some figgy pudding, so bring us some figgy pudding, so bring us some figgy pudding, now bring some out here. Good tidings we bring to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We won't go until we got some, we won't go until we got some, we won't go until we got some, so bring some out here. Good tidings to you and your kin. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good morning, and welcome to the Mount Diablo Unitarian Universalist Church. I'm Reverend Leslie Takahashi, and my pronouns are she and her. And I was saying before I turned on my mic, my fault, that we're always so grateful to have Cynthia Davis with us. So, yes, wonderful to welcome her. Welcome to our sanctuary, whether you're joining us in person or on our live stream this morning or watching us later. We are glad you're here, and a special welcome if you're visiting us or if you're back on campus for the first time in a while. Please join us in the Borton Hall today afterward to say hello and support our youth with their snack sale. But also today, we will have a little bit of, if the service gets you in the mood for some caroling, Scott Schrader has said he will stay and play some carols for us. So we have some caroling that can happen as well. So I want to remind you that it is a wonderful time of the year to think of others and to continue to donate to our Christmas can tree. Reverend Rodney is not is off today, but he has a goal of having it look a little bit more impressive than it did last year. And there's still Christmas Eve services where you could bring a can for the can tree. So we're putting a challenge out there to you. It looks pretty good on the bottom, but the top could use some work. So there you go. This is also the season where we ask for gifts to the minister's discretionary fund, which allows us to share Christmas and other support with people throughout the year. And this is a great way to reflect some generosity. So we are so glad you are here, and we look forward to seeing you, we hope, again later during this holiday season. We have a lot going on. Please check our calendar. There is no reason to not have support from your community, and welcome. We are glad to be together. Good morning. Oh, hand tip.
Is that better? Yes. Good morning. Happy holidays. I am Mark Chase, a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he and him. Welcome to our service. We begin our services by reading our mission together. We bring to life our Unitarian Universalist values as we seek truth and work for justice, nurture compassion and courage, reach out to each other and to our larger community of faith, bridge the divisions that wound the human family, transform ourselves and our world. We are glad to see all of you. A special welcome for our children and families. We have a fidget table available for children and a comfort room with sound for those visiting with the littlest ones. If you're joining us online, you can meet people in the virtual coffee hour via Zoom. It's approximately 15 minutes after the service. We hope to see you at our holiday services. Please take a card from the back table and give it to a friend. Members, you can take the extra one that was mailed to you and give it to someone who could use some inspiration for the holidays. Please remember, the way to make connections here is to connect on Sunday and beyond. Our weekly email and Beacon newsletter are good ways to track the many, many ways to gather and connect here, as our pictures at the beginning of the service show. And welcome. It's good to be together.
So for the first part of our service today, we are all together as a multi-generational community. So as we exchange greetings today, I invite you to meet somebody who is not necessarily of the same generation as you. Let's exchange greetings.
please rise in body or spirit for our next hymn, which is Deck the Halls, hymn number 235.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's good to see you all. Yeah. And I hear rumors that people aren't going to go to school this week. Anyone who's in that situation? Ah. You know, sometimes those rumors are, yeah, that's right. So there's some others back of you there. Okay, good. We've got some teachers out there, too. We got to celebrate that. Okay. Well, we're going to light our chalice, and we're also going to light our Advent wreath. This is the last Sunday of Advent. We're going to light both today. And last week we had our wonderful pageant, so we didn't really talk about our third candle, which is joy, which is our pink candle. So we're going to light that one first, and then the rest of our Advent wreath, and then we're going to light our chalice with these words. So we've been using the words of one of our colleagues from the Disciples of Christ tradition, which is another tradition that believes, as we do, that we should be including everybody in the human family. So this is what one of my colleagues in that tradition says. He says, "Faced with the troubles and the suffering of the world, we choose to live in the joyful presence of the divine and one another. May divine love flow through us and flood our troubled world with hope, peace, and joy. Advent is all about joy. Our times seem little suited sometimes for rejoicing. Our culture irritates us and entertains, intoxicates us and numbs, but celebrating joy can seem like a foreign idea. So today we have permission to experience joy." And our last candle, which we're going to light the chalice with, is the last Sunday of Advent is the Sunday which marks love, the coming of love. And this is what is said about this from Thad Allen. "We are social beings. That is our blessing and our curse. We long for one another. We long to touch, to share, to bear some part of ourselves, to be understood, to invite others into our lives. We all long to lessen the loneliness that lurks in the background of even our most crowded moments. And to do so, we celebrate love." So that is the lighting of our candles this morning.
Morning, y'all. Morning. So, friends, yesterday was the winter solstice. Do any of you know what that means, what the winter solstice is? Who wants to tell me? Somebody tell me what the winter solstice is. You want to come here? That's right. It is the shortest day and longest night of the year. So lots of folks have lots of different ways to celebrate winter solstice. and celebrating the fact that every day from now on will be just a little bit longer, and the night will be just a little bit shorter every day. So now I'm going to tell you a story about when the sun was born again. So it was the middle of winter, and the sun had grown very old. All year long, the sun had worked very hard, rising and setting day after day. All year long, the sun had fed everybody on earth, shining and shining, giving energy to the trees and the flowers and the grasses so they could grow and feed the animals and the birds and the insects and the people. All year, the sun's gravity held tight to the spinning ball of the earth and the twirling ball of the moon and the 8 other whirling planets as they traveled around and around and around until the poor sun was dizzy watching it all. Now, the poor, tired sun could barely make it up in the morning, and after a very short time needed to sleep again. So the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer, until the day was so short it was hardly worth getting up for. Now, Night felt very sorry for the sun. "Come to my arms and rest, child," she said. "After all, I am your mother. You were born out of my darkness billions of years ago, and you will return to me when all things end. Let me cradle you now as I shelter every galaxy and star in the universe." So, Night wrapped her great arms around the sun, and the night was very long indeed. "Why does the dark go on so long?" asked the children all over the earth. "Won't the sun ever come back again?" "The sun is very tired," said the old ones. "But maybe if you children say thank you for all the things the sun does for us, the light may return in the morning." The children sang songs to the sun. They thought about all the things the sun had given them. "Well, thank you for growing the lettuces and the corn and the rice and the wheat," they said, "and thank you for growing the trees and the forests and the seaweed and the oceans and the krill that feeds the whales. Thank you for stirring the air and making winds that bring the rain." Every time a child said thank you, the sun began to feel a little warmer and a little brighter. Wrapped safely in the arms of the night, the sun grew younger and younger. At last, the children had to go to bed. "We will stay up and wait for the sun to rise again," the old one said. "Well, can't we stay up too?" the children asked. "You can try, but you will get sleepy," the old one said. "But you can each light a candle, because all fire is a spark of the sun's fire. Put your candle in a very safe place, and let it keep vigil for you as you sleep and dream of sunrise." So the children lit their candles and put them in very safe places, and each flame was a little spark of the sun's fire. And the sun peeped out from between the arms of the night and saw all the little fires, and it began to feel warmer and brighter and younger still. Early in the morning, the old ones woke the children. Together, they climbed a high hill and faced to the east, the direction of sunrise. They sang songs to the sun and ran around trying to keep warm. They waited and waited to see what the dawn would bring. The sky began to turn from black to indigo to blue. Slowly the sun grew light. A golden glow crept over the horizon. Night opened her arms, and in a burst of brightness, the sun appeared, new and strong and shining. For in the long night, the sun had rested well and grown young from the songs and the thanks of the children, young as a brand new baby, born out of night once more. Everybody cheered, and the children jumped up and down. "The sun has returned. The sun is reborn," the people cried, and they danced and sang to celebrate the birth of the new day, and then went home for breakfast. The end.
Thank you, Rose. Everyone wants to clap, so we should clap. There we go. Good. Thank you, Julie. So a little while ago, we sang the song "Deck the Halls," and we are going to take some time now to do something that we did last year that we enjoyed, and that was to deck the halls together for a few minutes before the children go to their activities. So I want to say a couple things about this, and then I'm going to see who's listening to me. That's all of you out there. Okay. So one thing is that around the sanctuary, if you look, you'll see there are little piles of things. There are green boughs. There are beautiful pine cones that we've had loaned to us. There are some Christmas ornaments, which we already have. Cadence has described. We already have people discovering them, and some things to tie them onto the tree. You can tie them onto the tree. You can tie them onto the greens. And what's most important about this is it's something we're doing together. So take a moment to meet the eyes of others, to smile, to say hello as we do this, because that's really what this is about. These celebrations that allow us to connect and feel community during this time. And when we get close to the time where we're going to transition to the other things that our youngest at heart are going to do today, we're going to play a song and have Shelley and Sally sing it called Jingle Bell Rock. And when that song starts, you all are invited to get a noise-making instrument, which are somewhere in the sanctuary, back there, and we'll have some folks that'll come up with them, and you can jingle your way out, and we'll leave them at the door as well. So we'll have some noise-making on our way out. So first, we're going to do what? Deck the halls. Thank you. And when we hear what, we'll know we're moving. Yep, music's starting. Does anyone remember what song it is? Jingle Bell Rock. Great. You all were doing such a good job. And when you hear that, you can grab a what? A noisemaker. All right. Do we have this down? Are we ready? Julie, are we ready? We're ready. Let's deck the halls. And that's everybody, not just the kids.
jingle bell rock. Jingle bell swings and jingle bell rings, snowing and blowing up bushels of fun. Now the jingle hop has begun. Jingle bell rock. Jingle bell chime and jingle bell time, dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time! It's the right time to rock those stars away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. Mix and mingle in the jingle bell beat. That's the jingle bell rock. Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell chime and jingle bell time, dancing and prancing in Jingle Bell Square. In the frosty air, what a bright time! It's the right time to rock the night away. Jingle bell time, it's a swell time to go gliding in a one-horse sleigh. Giddy up, jingle horse, pick up your feet, jingle around the clock. Mix and a mingle in the jingle bell feet. That's a jingle bell, that's a jingle bell, that's a jingle bell rock.
Boy, that was nice, Sally and Shelley. Thank you. So my name is Peter Morse, and my pronouns are he and him. And so it's Christmas time. So bear with me as I recite the very Christocentric verse, O Magnum Mysterium. O great mystery and wonderful sacrament, that animals should see the newborn Lord, lying in a manger. Blessed is the Virgin to bear the Lord, Jesus Christ. Alleluia. Why this recitation? My spiritual practice leans more towards animism than adoration for the Christ. In part, when I was a child raised in the Congregational Church, I thought it odd that humans were the only species granted entrance into heaven. After all, the earth is home to more sentient species than just Homo sapiens. With that in mind, and the reminder that Magnum Mysterium calls out animals as witnesses to a wondrous birth, let me share with you two of my experiences centered on animals that were mysterious and wondrous. The first occurred in the mid-1970s. While in high school, I would routinely bike between my home and the San Jose's Eichler Tract to Villa Montalvo, a park near Los Gatos, which protects a large neoclassical home along with formal gardens and a second-generation redwood grove. Once while lying atop an upright wall in Montalvo's redwoods, I drifted into a meditative state. To my quiet delight, a young tawny deer slowly approached my prone body and sniffed and nudged me gently. She left after a few moments while I laid now fully awake and aware to reflect on her electric and mysterious behavior. Curiously, I hadn't imbibed in any illicits this trip to Montalvo. A second occurrence occurred in the 1990s in Sacramento, where Chris and I spent 25 years. Our dog at the time, a 70-pound rescue Ridgeback mix named Quercus, had been raised with our neighbor's large yellow lab, Cody. The two were best buds for many, many years until Cody's owners moved to Hawaii. Now, our dog was a sound sleeper who had his own bed at the foot of ours. One unique night, Quercus was unable to sleep and kept us up with his click, click, clicking on the old hardwood floors. Chris and I were perplexed. However, the next morning, we received an email from our Hawaiian friends that Cody had passed that day. The following night and all his many more nights after, Quercus returned to his sound sleep routine. So did these mysterious experiences with animals somehow change my beliefs? Not much, but they were indeed wondrous. And perhaps they nudged me a wee bit more towards animism. And animism, and I love the definition, the belief that all things in nature do have a spiritual essence. So, during this Christmas season, let us not forget the rightful place of animals in the Christmas story. And come, let us worship together.
This is the time when we take into the loving heart of this community those joys and sorrows that are too great to bear alone. And I want to ask Peter if he's willing to go down and light a couple candles for me down the bowl. Thank you so much. And the first candle that we're lighting is for our beloved member, Jean Wilcox, who has been a longtime member of this community and who has entered into hospice and wished us to share that with you today. Jean is at home and resting and is taking calls from those who know her and I know would appreciate cards especially too. So please do take a moment to remember Jean, who has been such an important part of this congregation for so long. And we are also lighting a candle today for Ann Piper. Ann, who has been an important part of this community as well, and a very important part for the last years of our online community, often the host of our virtual coffee hour after the service. And Ann is also recovering. Ann is in Shadelands post-acute care in Walnut Creek, and also would very much appreciate calls and on her cell phone if you have that, and also cards, but those should be delivered here, as right now there's not anyone at her home. So we're going back and forth and we can take those to her as well. And finally, and the third candle I asked Peter to light is for a former member of this congregation who has fallen upon some difficult times and who could use some support over this next 10 days or so. And if you are available potentially just to drop off maybe some groceries or to do something in the Martinez area, please let me know, as we are trying to offer support for someone who is having a very difficult time this particular year. So we are grateful for that. And the last candle specifically I'll ask Peter to light is for our tree, which I've really come to love. Over all of our different ministrations to it over these weeks and this month. So I just want to take a moment to publicly confess that. And I ask Peter to light two final candles. one to hold those joys and sorrows that remain in the sanctuary of our hearts, for they are too best taken into the loving embrace of this community. So if you are struggling with something, please do reach out to someone in our community. And the last is for our hopes and dreams for this beautiful, beautiful, majestic world, troubled though it is, of which we are a part. Thank you.
Please remain seated for Hinamav Tov, a setting of Psalm 133, first verse, how good it is and how pleasant for brethren to dwell together. Hinamav Tov Manayim Shevet Ahim Gayad Hinamav Tov Manayim Shevet Ahim Gayad Hinamav Tov Shevet Ahim how good it is and how pleasant for people to dwell together. How good it is and how pleasant for people to dwell together. Good and pleasant people in peace together. Good and pleasant people in peace together.
Good morning. My name is Kevin Shea. I'm a member of your Board of Trustees. My pronouns are he, him, and his. As we enter this season, I feel like a lot is changing and a lot stays the same. Winter is coming, winter is here, but I feel spring coming too. Do you feel it in the air, the energy of this church? In the last couple weeks, oh my goodness. And while I put on this very festive tie that totally does not match my outfit, I felt I need a little extra help getting into the holiday spirit. For it was 23 years ago that my mother-in-law was in hospice. And I was on the Board of Trustees at the time, and this congregation wrapped me up and my wife in the warm embrace of support, compassion, and love. And that's what this congregation does. All of you, all of us, that is what we do. And so we keep that tradition alive. Most of you hearing my voice were not here at the time, did not know me at the time. But the caring and compassion of this community stays the same, even as the people change, like the waves that go up and down with different molecules of water, but the waves continue on. And that's what we do when we support this church. The offerings will now be graciously received. Wow, I am struck by the caring and compassion of this church. Just look at how many people came by to drop a stone and light a candle today. It's truly amazing. And now we dedicate our offerings. The words are up on the screen. To the work of this community in transforming ourselves and our world, we dedicate ourselves and our offerings. Thank you.
Can we just take a moment and appreciate Julie Homey, who's giving us so much music in this season? And I also really already planned on this today to recognize Tom Taylor, who coordinates ushering for us and has just done that in such a beautiful way since the pandemic. So thank you, Tom. Of course, the best way to thank Tom would be to say you'd be an usher. Right, exactly. So this is a season of many holidays, and whatever you celebrate in the mix this year, and sometimes I know it's different for people, different times, different years, I hope that you have found a way to honor joy and love in those honorings. And I'll say that this is a year in which the ways that the holidays that are set on our calendar interact with the holidays that are lunar holidays is a little unusual. For example, Hanukkah is going to be our celebration a week from today because it's unusually late in our calendar. But there are so many, and last night we were here, as Rose said, for the solstice. And whatever reason you have to be grateful this year, or whatever reason you have to remember this year, I invite you to take just this little period of time to do so. Because there is something in this remembrance that can fuel our spirit even when we are, as Kevin reminded us so beautifully, touched by sorrow in this season, for the holiday timetable is a little slower than the rest of our year. Holidays come only once a year, so we mourn a little longer, we remember a little harder. And I'm wearing today the stole of one of my lost beloveds who died a few years ago. I feel like I have more and more of these that have been bequeathed to me by colleagues gone by. So I know that that's also in our hearts today. And yet we have the capacity to hold all of this, to deck the halls in whatever ways we need to celebrate in whatever ways we need to nourish our spirits. And as Charles Dickens, the Victorian author of A Christmas Carol and also a Unitarian, reminded us, we are often visited in this time by spirit that Christmas is past and future. No matter how hard we live, we try to live mindfully in the present. And that's true of all the holidays, no matter what we celebrate. So I want to talk a little bit about some of the things that we honor in the season. Carols and Christmas trees, for example, they're both celebrations. The word carol actually means a dance or a song of praise or joy. And they used to be written, I thought this was very interesting, they were actually written to be celebrated in all 4 seasons. But actually the ones that remained were these in this winter season. I did learn that the song Good King Wenceslas, which we often sing in this season, is actually an Easter song. So the next time you hear someone singing that, go, no, you're too early, or way too late, one of the others. But the midwinter songs were devised to keep people's spirits up in the dreariness of winter, and they seem to have arisen most as dances as early as the 14th century. And then, in the English tradition, which most of our roots here come from, carols were not sung in churches until about the 14th century. They were mostly home celebrations. And after this, we're going to have a chance to sing, as I said, together afterward in the hall with Scott Schrader, who's with us today, if you want to stay for that. When the Puritans took over in England briefly in the mid-1600s, they banned carols, which did not surface publicly again for many decades. Carols, though, went underground. They were shared in private settings because the government did not allow them to be public. But the need for joy, it seems, a basic human need, is hard to stamp out. And what is clear is that the carols were designed to get us through when the sunlight is scarce, which, as scientists now tell us, is very much tied to mood elevation. So many other parts of our seasonal celebrations have a similar story. For example, the Christmas tree, and yes, as someone mentioned, there was an article recently this year about this is the year of the Ozempic tree. But beautiful nonetheless. The Christmas tree, which was modeled on German customs, was brought to this country by Unitarians as well. They wanted to add more joy for children. And a few decades later, some religious purists banned those as well. So they were banned in this country, went underground, were seen only in private homes, and did not surface again for a number of years. Joy and love remains and persists, doesn't it? And as we celebrated in our solstice service last night, it's a season of contemplation. In this year, we can easily be overwhelmed by the uncertainties of the future, of next year, of this 2025 that is just around the corner. What I'm going to invite us to do in these next days is to reconnect to the best of the traditions of the past, which still have personal meaning for us, not to worry about the ones that don't, and to focus on building our strength in the present, the strength of our spirits. Because all of this will be important. And at the end, we're going to sing O Come All Ye Faithful, which is, musicologists believe, perhaps the oldest of all the carols that still remains. And while its words are not exactly our theology as Unitarians in 2024, when we sing it together in a little while, let's think about what it is that we need to remain faithful to in our times. So I'm going to invite you into that spirit of contemplation, and thanks to Tom and Jeff Hearns, you should have a little gift tag somewhere near you. And there are probably writing utensils that went around as well. There's some in the back if you need them. Someone near you may actually have one. Those are getting harder to find, I will say. But what I'm going to ask you to contemplate as Julie gifts us with a little bit more music in a few minutes is, what is one form of lived joy or embodied love that you wish to have within your halls at the end of this year? What is one way that you would seek to spread joy and love to yourself, to the others around you, perhaps in some greater sense as well? It doesn't have to be anything really large. It could be digging out the star from the box of ornaments you've been trying to ignore and putting it on the kitchen table. It could be petting the cat. It could be noticing the lights while you drive places at night. It could be taking a moment to look for the stars, though the weather forecast does not say that's going to be that fruitful. It could be listening to the rain. It could be petting the cat. It could be listening to your favorite holiday music. It could be inviting a friend for Hanukkah. It could be petting the cat or putting out suet for the birds. The cat lobby did sponsor this part of my message today, because they said that I tend towards dogs. And Peter mentioned dogs, so it was good that we had the cat lobby. However, you may also pet the dogs or the snakes or whatever. But really take a moment and just think about the ways that you can invite joy and love into your hearts. Some small, quiet way to sit with your sorrow, to sit with your fear, to sit with whatever else is there. But to consciously do that, and then write it if you want on that ornament, and when we get done with this service, you can take it home, or if you'd like, you can add it to our beautiful, beautiful tree. let us take a moment to contemplate our gifts of joy and love. So I understand that some of you did not get a tag, and so if you're not going to, this isn't something you want to partake in, just leave it on the back counter there, and someone else can pick it up and take it with them or put it on the tree. So we'll have a chance to do that as we listen to the beautiful postlude today from Cynthia and Julie. But may we be reminded by this gathering today that mindfulness of our present and the small miracles that are always around, if we notice them, can be one of our biggest gifts for ourselves, for those whose lives intersect with ours, and for the larger family of humanity. Thank you for giving all those gifts.
Please rise in body or spirit for hymn number 253, O Come All Ye Faithful. O come all ye faithful, joyful and triumphant. O come ye to Bethlehem.
And I'm going to invite Peter to get some really extensive experience with the candle snuffer here as we hear the words of our benediction, which are from Charles Dickens, who said, "I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. I will live in the past, the present, and the future. The spirits of all three shall strive within me." And what I want to say before we say our formal closing here is, in this particular year, what I want you to remember is that we will be gathering in many ways over the next week. And if you have a need in your spirit to be with others, please come and be with us. We will be here at 5:30 for our children's service on Tuesday at 8. We have our virtual lunches, our service next week. Please do not let yourself feel that isolated, and know that we are all here to take the gifts of joy and love out into the world. Let us go in peace.
Mm-hmm.